folks. Welcome back to In the Spirit of Things. Time to get on this roller coaster ride. Strap yourself in. Keep your hands in the car at all times. Don't want anybody losing any limbs tonight. Anyways, I just thought I'd throw that in for short measure. Anyways, folks, new direction of flow. We're getting a lot more continuity of getting our minds right on a different level. And tonight we're going to cover a little bit about how to draw a line in the sand and go to peace to address life's issues, and also how to live with purpose and be the change you want to be. Also, we're going to cover a little bit with Brother Johnny and the latest updates on Brother John's issues with the courts in Canada. Anyways, folks, if you haven't seen that video with Brother John, it's posted over on our YouTube page over there at privatist.me. It's also on Blog Talk US, and it's also over at in5d.com. And I want to give a big shout-out to Brother Greg over at In5D, and we really thank you for doing a little heavy lifting for us over here In the Spirit of Things, because we want to bring this to your front door. We appreciate your posts, and we appreciate all you do. So with that, here's your shout-out, brother. I got you covered. Anyways, Michelle, was that paramount that we give a little shout-out and some love to my brothers over at In5D?
Absolutely. I think Greg is doing fantastic work over at in5d.com, and I'm just happy that he's giving us some attention too. So yes.
Yep. Well, we can all use a little attention. Anyways, folks, Brother Johnny, we're going to bring him on in the loop on the front end because I'd like to address his status. Like I say, folks, I just bring a bigger flashlight so that they can scamper a little quicker. And when I say that, that's the nefarious ones behind closed doors. They don't want their dirty deeds coming out and getting aired in public, sort of like what's happened to Brother Dean and all this other stuff. They figure we're all going to go to sleep and go along, get along. Folks, that paradigm, that ship has set sail. Hey, folks, you got the power. You just didn't realize it. So we're going to show you how to bring some of that back. I don't need any decision makers. I don't need anybody giving me their skewed view and their perspective, i.e. their world according to GARP or their Forrest Gump moment, because everybody's got an opinion. I mean, I get lots of them out there, but they always come from a twisted perspective or not a factual. Anyways, the facts were out. Anyways, with that being said, Brother John, are you in the room?
I'm here, Peter. How are you making out tonight?
Very good, very good.
How you doing, Michelle?
Hi, John. I'm great. How are you?
Oh, doing good. We had a little visit with the kids today.
Yeah.
And it's bittersweet, of course. We're starting to notice they've got him on milk now. They're force-feeding him the milk because they're trying to keep his weight up now. And now he's starting to break out an eczema in his face and stuff like this now. And he's starting to have breathing problems now. Because as you know, milk is
special.
Milk causes mucus in the lungs and all this kind of stuff, and causes asthma. People don't know with all these hormones and all this kind of stuff. So they're just giving them this left and right, and our hands are tied and we can't do anything about it at this point. We have to, stay at peace. So it was definitely bittersweet to see this and our little one, and like I say, things work out in the end.
Yeah, folks. Let me just cover something for a second. So we're talking about milk, folks. For those of you not paying attention, that garbage they pass off as milk out there, folks. I don't drink it. Haven't drank it for years, and now they want to go one step further and share some more poison with you. They want to put aspartame in the milk supply. You can't make this stuff up, folks. I mean, they're poisoning everybody, fluoridating them, chemtrailing them. GMO, genetically modified food products so that your system doesn't work right. Folks, you can't make this stuff up. I just caught that over on one of my health reviews. They were talking about they were fixing to bring in aspartame into the garbage milk, folks. And when you go to the store, look at the labels, actually read them. If it's like sucralose, sucrose, NutraSweet, whatever they have all these different names. But it's aspartame. They got aspartame. They're putting this garbage all over it. Folks, I drank Diet Coke for like 14 years when it came out in 1982, and that's when Donald Rumsfeld called in his credits to sell his poison. By the way, folks, all those rats that they did the test on, see, they're supposed to test stuff before they bring it forward for human consumption. Well, the poor rat bastards, they all died. But they don't tell you that. They don't tell you. Matter of fact, aspartame's an excitotoxin. It's not good for your body. It can actually switch over, create methanol, which is toxic to the liver. Anyways, I was going through the shakes and, like an old man. Folks, I thought I was getting dadgum, what's that disease, Parkinson's or something. I was getting the shakes. I was losing my memory. And it was because the excitotoxins in the system were actually shutting me down because it doesn't allow for the synapse of the brain cells to actually function correctly. So if your electromagnetic flow is compromised, that's not a good thing. So, but this is the crap they're putting in. So I don't know, folks.
Well, they're also putting it in our vaccines as well, Peter. You know what I mean? Like I say, if you go to vaccine.com, you'll see it there listed, and that's exactly what it does. It's a cytotoxin, and it just rapidly, puts your metabolism into envelope shock, basically, when they give this to you, right? And we wonder why the obesity and all this kind of stuff is so high and stuff like that is because they've damaged the human body prematurely with this toxin and stuff like that, which puts the body in a disrupted state and it can't recover. And then, you know what I mean? It's just absolute genocide, like slow kill genocide, brutal.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, definitely let people know what's going on.
Yeah, I was I was reading. Matter of fact, over on our site, we have Sweet Misery, folks. If you've never seen that, it's like a 52-minute video that actually covers this aspartame garbage, so you can get a little clarity. Because I actually post stuff of substance, so you don't think that I just made it up and it's considered hearsay. So go over to the site, privatist.me, and have some fun. Go take a look at all the stuff I have posted. It's just pulling back the curtain, folks. I got Dr. Rebecca Carley over there for her hour and 15 minutes, and she was a medical physician in the game, in the system, and she knew something was amiss with these vaccinations they were pushing. John, what was that site you said that for folks who don't believe they're putting...
Novaccine.com?
Yeah, novaccines.com, folks.
Yeah.
Help yourself. You can go see what poison they're actually putting into our bodies, or i.e. your bodies. Because I don't do shots. I haven't done shots in 30 years. And I'm not going to start now, and nor my kids. We don't do the shot thing. I'll be glad to give them a shot. I'm really good at giving shots. Anyways, whatever. Folks, I won't break the needle off on you, but you'll get, anyways. I better be nice. Anyways, that's right. I'm supposed to be sharing the love. Okay.
I know. That's what I say, Pete. That's where we come from, too. We've got to keep ourselves in check as well, too, and not let these bastards, bring us down to their level kind of thing. So, so we'll use this, and hopefully we have some listeners that can hear what I'm saying, and, and at least go and look this stuff up before you do this to your kids and stuff like that, and we wonder why our kids are so sick and why there's so many people in the hospitals and all this kind of stuff. It is business, it's they treat us like absolute rats in the lab, exactly, just like you said, it's
and
horrible.
You're another hypothecation of it, folks. It's just about the money. This is what like I say, I did 25 years of research following the stinking money. If you just follow the money trail, you'll have total clarity about all the conflict of interest crap that these people do. They're not making decisions on my behalf. Like I say, folks, that's not where I live. You can put whatever crap you want in your body, but, what blows me away is they're actually infecting the food supply deliberately. Now, that's, pretty freaking nefarious from where I live. I mean, it's one thing if I want to eat whatever I want to eat, but now you're going to arbitrarily poison my butt with your garbage, and I have no say. So I guess I got to quit eating that crap, folks. So, I guess Peter's gone and pretty much he's going all natural. My machine likes it. My body, it's all good. Back on that page.
And why, Peter? Why? These. If you control the food, you control the people. If you control the water, you control the people.
Yep.
If you have everybody using a system of currency, of money, you control the people. It's all completely arbitrary. It's all completely arbitrary. It's called fiat currency. It's created by decree. It's created out of absolute thin air.
Yep.
The Federal Reserve, look, I'm probably preaching to the choir here, but it is neither federal nor is it a reserve. It is a private corporation that lends money to your American government. Here in Canada, it's the Bank of Canada. It's neither a bank and nor is it Canadian, and they lend money to the Canadian government at interest. Now, if you understand just the basics, the very, very basics of mathematics, most people will understand if the Bank of Canada lends money to the government and expects for the government to pay it back with interest, there is not enough money in the world that can ever pay that back.
Right.
And that it is a Ponzi scheme of epic proportions. This is the mind hack. It is made to fail. It is a giant game of, I think everyone's familiar with the game of musical chairs.
Very good. You just pulled the thought right out of my head. Okay, yeah, use that analogy, sweetie. That's really, really good.
It's the game of musical chairs. There are a certain number of chairs and a certain number of people. There is one chair missing, though, so that when the music, and everyone's walking around, and when the music stops, everyone has to grab theirs. They have to grab their chair because we are set up in this system based on lack and limitation. And guess what? The person standing, well, he's the one that loses his farm, or he's the one who loses his business, or his house, or his car. And he's the one that's made to pay. And it's based on fear, because money is the control system that keeps us in fear. And why? Why fear? You know, it's an energy. It's a contracted energy, and it's extremely valuable, because when we're in a state of fear, we're not asking questions. We're not expanding. We're not growing. And I think man's natural state is one of expansion. I had another idea about the fear aspect, and how it's just one huge Ponzi scheme, but we all give it our attention. We all allow it, and in allowing it, we abide by it. We consent. We are drafted for performance, and we consent to it.
Yeah. Exactly. Folks, it's a mathematical anomaly. What that means, an anomaly, means it can never go to ground. It can never become whole. It's, like I say, the fractionalized banking system, I started digging into it about 1988 I started digging into it.
Peter, I have my thought. Can I just interject?
Yes, you can.
Thanks. It's based on debt. So we have a financial system that is based on credit, which is actually debt. Money represents debt, because every dollar bill floating around represents money plus interest that is owed back. So it is debt. So not only is it worse than debt, it's less than nothing, because you owe back on it. So let's just wrap our heads around that. Not only is there no value to it, but there is less than value to it. There's negative value to it.
Yeah.
How's that for a big, giant black hole?
Yeah, like I say, it's a mathematical equation that'll never be completely. It's the analogy of musical chairs is excellent. Somebody's gonna get screwed in the game of commerce, folks. That's what happens. That's what's happening. There's got to be a loser, and we're getting millions and millions of them every day. People losing their homes, because they didn't know who they were. They didn't know about the trust. They didn't know about the estate. They didn't know any of these things. See, because they just lulled us to sleep. Basically, we didn't look beyond the pale. Like I've been asking these questions all my life about the property tax, this, that, nobody can give me a valid answer. Folks, it's like talking into the abyss. So I try to get direction of flow, but folks, they've created, like I say, everything is just a hypothecation event. When you start putting all these informations together and following the money trail, it all becomes a very apparent, very clear. It's a rigged gig, for lack of a better term. It's a rigged gig. Mm-hmm. So, folks, we're gonna share with you how we can move forward from the rigged gig, because we're moving on in different directions. Anyways, Michelle, I guess I'll let you interject. I'm sort of stuck here.
No, that's fine. That's fine. It's good. I just want to get back to the rigged gig. One of my favorite questions is why. So why the control? Why is it that we follow the money trail and we see the control aspect? Why? And, it comes back to, it's control. It's control. Yeah. Because when I am controlled, I cannot continue asking questions. I am just an automaton, completely homogenized to be like everybody else, getting mine, fighting, scrapping with my neighbors and my coworkers, and in a state of, basically an animal. And, let's, the end game is let's eliminate all humanity. I shouldn't say that. What I mean to say is every aspect that makes me human. Let's eliminate my compassion. Let's eliminate my ability to love and see joy in others. Let's eliminate my creativity. Let's eliminate everything that makes me me. And it's that crushing fear through the systems of, we're getting it through the chemicals, through the food, through the water. So let's affect my body, my very vessel that carries the spirit of mine. Let's affect the brain, which, let's affect my spirit also. So it's a three-pronged attack. And my sense of things is it's a war of consciousness. And this is not, and it will not be fought with guns, but it will be won, and it is being won with consciousness, with awareness, with people actually realizing that, first of all, what's going on. And that elicits a lot of anger. Remember we were discussing Elizabeth Kubler-Ross, and she had this model when a person is facing death or another sort of extreme fate. There are a series of stages, and it's been refuted by other scientists. But you know what? I think there's value there. We go through various stages, not necessarily all of them, and not in any particular order. And we might go back to a few stages and repeat them. But I like this. First, you go through denial. It's impossible. There's no chemtrails. They're not poisoning my water. They're not controlling me. I'm in charge. Then it's anger. Okay, when the facts are just too blatant and too obvious, then you come around to seeing what's going on. You become angry. Then sometimes you might go through bargaining. You might, look, I work for the bank. They're going to take care of me. Depression, and then acceptance. Finally, the topic we were going to be discussing tonight is drawing the line. And I kind of warned you before the show that there might be a total polarity switch between us, and
Pete will be the passive, neutralizing one, and you're going to be the ranter. Is that what you're telling me?
I might just go off on a rant here.
Oh, here we go, folks. Hey, go ahead, John.
But you know what? I want to break the flow because I know John is here and he's so patient. And John, we just opened so many brackets. It's like we need a cleanup on all four. Can we get back to you, because I really want to find out what's going on with you and the kids. We'll get back to my rant.
There we go.
Like I say, we're still being peaceful and stuff like that, while still not consenting or signing anything with DPS or any of this kind of stuff. Refuse to, and this is part of it as well. They're definitely trying to be hard-nosed as well and doing everything in their power to make me do this stuff.
Right. They
illegally kidnap my children with no charges whatsoever, and applying for 6 months custody. This is this is our court system. They apply for a 6-month custody while keeping them for 6 months before the trial.
And I think they're making a couple of dollars too, brother. I think they're hypothecating. They're probating the estates, folks. For those of you who don't understand that, go ahead, John.
But like I say, we're staying peaceful, and we're staying, I educate these people while they're here too, and like I'll sit there and I'll play videos all day long, you know what I mean, in the background and stuff, and make these people, take responsibility for their actions and know what's going on in this world. You will not be blissfully unaware in my home, you gotta sit here and stuff like that. So we're definitely, getting some people, workers, asking questions and stuff like that, and that's why we're here. We're here to teach others. And like Michelle was saying, there are a lot of people waking up now. You see it all the time. It used to be such a taboo topic, any of this so-called conspiracy talk and all this. Now it's mainstream. Now it's mainstream. Everyone's talking about it. It's like, yeah, do you hear about this? Do you hear about that? And it's everything. You know what I mean? You could talk about 20 different topics where they're, inundating us with, ways to keep us from not connecting with all that we are. And keeping us in this, low-minded thoughts of everyday life when we are so great and so special and an eternal spirit, here to experience happiness and joy as much as we can, and exactly, it's about control, and it's horrible, but like I say, we're here to wake people up, This is what got me out of, our home. We were learning and knowing what's going on and stuff like that, and it's the universe saying, yeah, well, you guys have learned enough, now it's time to teach the rest, so, and we've always had no problem with teaching people and, sticking up for the little guy, and letting people know what's going on and how you're being affected if you want to know, So,
and not necessarily teaching, right, John? You and Jesse aren't necessarily teaching, but you're being an example of what it is. You're exhibiting your true nature, and in doing so, you're allowing other people to come to the understanding that they have a choice too.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Like we could be, hateful and everything else, and and letting that, this universe or whatever this experience is bring us down to that lower level. But instead, we decided to change it to help others, to help ourselves, of course, and and continue once we get through this. We're going to be in the front line helping others as well. Understand their rights and understand who they are and understand that you're not slaves and that they're not allowed to do this kind of stuff to you. And, there are ways to get remedy. So.
Yep. Oh, yeah. Well, they would rather us be in a state of flux, i.e. warring with them, and that's why we're having the shift. Folks, that's S-H-I-I-F-T, so just to give clarity.
Okay,
I know it sounds like something else, but I'm not saying what you're thinking. Folks, well, anyways, but folks, they want to keep you busy. They want you in this psychological flux mode where you're unbalanced, you're caught flat-footed, you're psychologically upended. This is the constant state of disassemblance. You're not grounded. They don't want you to go. Hey, we talk about this going to ground, folks. It's viable. It's valid. This is where you need to be. This is where we need to be. This is where we're going. So, matter of fact, Brother Michael, we love all these IMF-run countries so much. We're making an international package so we can really share the love with Germany and all these other countries, folks. Because we love them so much because they're a bunch of crooks, anyways. So we're gonna show them a different form of love. I just got an email today from an individual who said they returned their documents, folks. It's Tricks is for Kids Hour again. I mean, what type of? Anyways, I won't even go. Okay, no rants. Didn't take my medication.
No, it's okay.
Today,
We're
anyways.
allowed to rant, Peter.
Yeah, well.
Carte blanche, please.
Yeah, that's called breach of the trust, folks. Anyway, so we'll be giving some direction of flow on how to handle the nefarious crap that they keep pushing out. Canada's real good about returning people's documents when you use register, huh, John?
Oh, are they ever? Yeah, they they definitely don't like those too much around here at all.
No, and then
they just ignore it. But we keep we document everything from the process of putting our paperwork together, putting it in the envelope, driving them to the post office. We film everything. We film giving it to the post office. We stamp it with the post office stamps. You know what I mean? We do everything, and then we put the number on it and then copy that as well. So we make sure that we're well documented. There's no way they can deny that they.
And you're not filing. You're not filing anything into the case. You're
no, exactly.
You're going
private.
There you go, folks. Private. Yeah, we don't use fiction land because fiction land's where they draft you for performance. Yeah, if anybody hasn't gone and seen my birth certificate bond over on privatist.me, it's on the first week's curriculum along with the 14-page birth certificate securitization scam, folks. If you think I'm making this up, you'll get enlightened on a whole different level. You need to go read that download. It's a PDF. It's attached and it's free. Just go into privatist.me and get it because, folks, this is where it all started. And like I said, they've been raping the estates. It's all about the trust. It's all about estate law. They don't want us knowing about this. They don't want anybody to become a living beneficiary because then they can't steal the beneficial interest of the estate. Gee, go figure. Anyways, because they think you gave it over when you registered. So, we're going in a different direction of flow, folks. And come on over to my house. My house is over at privatist.me, and everybody's invited because you're gonna get what you're not getting in the public. They're not gonna. That's why I had to go with the private. Gee, go figure. Privatist.me. What a deal. Anyways, folks, I'm going to move forward. We're going to move into a break right now. It's 7:30ish. So everybody go do what they do when they take a break, and we'll be right back. All righty.
Thank you.
You got it.
Shit, I can't go to break. I got no internet.
All right, sorry.
Oh, okay,
I guess we're not
so we'll
going
continue.
to break. All right. It's all right. All right.
No problem. So a bit
I
of
guess
a
we're not going to
technical
break.
problem, so we're not going to break yet. That's fine.
Yeah. We can do some heavy lifting.
So we were discussing, Peter, drawing the line.
Right.
And you and I had a bit of a discussion before the show, and I was drawing some parallels between the work that you and Michael are doing with your documents with the third-party debt termination.
Termination, yeah.
Right, that's drawing the line. But I was showing you some examples of me drawing the line in my experiences in my life, and call it my spiritual quest. And well, do you want to get into this?
Yeah.
Do we open up this big can of
whoop ass or whatever we want to call it? Sure. I'm afraid no ghosts.
I'm all ears.
All right. I just have to preface this by saying this is my opinion, okay? And there are some people who might hear what I'm saying and they might be offended, and I invite them to be. This is my opinion. It's not a debate. I don't need anyone or want anyone to believe me. I don't want anyone to have faith in what I'm saying. I don't want anybody to buy anything. I'm not selling anything. I don't want anybody to follow me, okay? Faith and belief are two words that I don't like. I would love for people to come to their own opinions. And stop copying other people.
Yeah.
Think for yourselves. Getting into following and leading, there were 4 or 5 people who came before us, and who we made to be leaders. We know who those people were through history. They had a big impact on how we perceived ourselves, and we made them leaders. The thing is, the way I see it, they weren't leaders. They were the best followers we've ever had. Why? Well, because they followed what they knew. Why? Because they were always asking questions, and they had a direct connection with what they knew. And that's why. And in following what they knew to be truth, somehow they became leaders for us. But we corrupted that somehow. And instead of them being an example to us of the potential that we could reach, it's just so much easier for us to believe what they learned, to put our faith in them, because it requires the least effort. We don't like change, do we? But the thing is, life is change. The only thing that's constant is change.
Yeah.
And it's my thoughts that make this universe. I think there's a quote by Marcus Aurelius. Here, I'm going to mangle a quote. This is my weekly mangling of the quote, guys. The universe is change, and it's my thoughts that make it. So I think that's really important. But anyway, getting back to drawing the line, in the spiritual I was doing a lot of just, trying to see what was out there and what other people were finding out for themselves. And I came to some really fast conclusions. Usually if there's incense burning, that's where I draw the line. If they're burning candles somehow, but if whatever it is they're asking me to participate in and it requires candle burning, I'm out of there. And if the room is closed and I'm with a bunch of other people and they're depriving me of oxygen so I can't think clearly, I don't want to be there. I just don't. If they're telling me, if they want to guide me on some meditation and they, and they tell me to sit down and we're in the dark and they tell me to turn off my mind, no. I'm sorry, no. I don't want. I don't consent. Yeah. There are these people that, I've been to these different groups and stuff, and they'll say, okay, it's a guided meditation, and all right, now open up your crown chakras, everybody, and allow the light in through your crown chakra. And I'm like, what's this light? What is it that I'm allowing into my space here?
Vessel.
I don't know what it is. Who's telling me? Why are you telling me to do this? What's your motivation? Who are you working for? I'm sorry, no. All these things are distractions. These satsangs, somebody staring, some guru staring at you, and you're supposed to become enlightened. All distractions. I figured out all these spiritual things were distractions. I'm on a rant, Peter.
Yeah, it's all right. Yeah.
And they want us to participate in these things, these rituals with symbolism and meaning. And you know what? I don't understand. I know that there's a lot of meaning in these symbols, but because I don't understand them, I know that there's something going on here, but if I don't understand, I don't want to participate. I don't want to play these stupid human tricks. Like you keep saying, tricks are for kids. You know what? I'm an adult. And with adulthood comes responsibility. And I'm responsible for myself. And you know what? I don't do what other people tell me to do. I never have. And, that has gotten me into trouble in the past, but it's made me who I am. And for the most part, look, I'm able to think for myself. I don't consent. All of these things are offers, and they're trying to draft me for performance. As much in the legal dead man's land, like you and Michael cover, and that Jonathan and Jesse are going through, as in the living world, with the spiritual, look, I'm going to say it, bullshit that they foist on people. All of these things, anything that sounds too good to be true, it probably is. And if somebody tells me to believe something, that it's for the good of all, just sign here, no. No, I won't. Especially if I know what the source of this is, especially if I can get a sense of what's going on. Ultimately, all of this, as much in dead man's land and the physical world that we're living in, as much in the mental sphere, and as much in the spiritual sphere, it's all diversions. And we're seeing a lot of this. Don't worry, we've got your best interests at heart. We're taking care of things for you. All these bankers have quit their jobs, and, changes on the horizon. Just sit tight for another while. We're almost there. Oh, and you know what? Over here, we've established a trust in your name. You know what? Just sign here. Everything's going to be taken care of. We're setting up a new system. Oh, and over here, you know what? We're setting up a new financial system. You know what? It sounds like lateral moves to me. I don't move laterally. A lateral move for me is a waste of time and effort. I don't want a new system. I don't. A new system is just more control, and look, I don't want to swear on air here, but you know what it is. And it's all distractions that are vying for my attention, vying for my consciousness. The unit of currency that I have is my consciousness. What I put my focus on, that is my vote. That is how I create the universe, if you want. And it's all diversions. And anything that requires my faith or my belief, anything that requires me to not think and not worry and just feel good about something.
Yeah.
No, because you know what? We're in a state of dissonance. We all feel the need to do, and along come these somehow easy, simple solutions. Someone's taking care of us. And, for some people it can be very tempting because it relieves me from the need to continue, and in relieving me from that need, I'm released from the struggle. I'm released from the questions. I'm released from the asking. But you know what? It catches me. It's a distraction, and it keeps me at that level. Like a stream. You've got eddies, little vortices of water that are created at the bank of the river, like a re-entry circuit electrically, right? But it's movement of water, and the water goes around. And you know what? That water goes around and around and around, and there's no stop to it. The water pretty much, it's there. And for me, that's these spiritual satsangs and the meditation and, I've got my answer, I have my guru, and, it's all these distractions. Oh, and chanting, I'm going to stay and I'm chanting. Fine, that's a distraction. You stay there. For me, it's entrapment, and I will not go. I'm going further. For me, the magic word, it's further. I'm going to keep asking questions. Anyone who offers me an easy solution, here we've set up a trust in your name. Here, whatever, the Pleiadians are coming to save us. There's another coming of Christ. The Brotherhood of God knows what from Xanadu. They're coming down. They're going to save you. Really? Really? Give me some proof. Because, give me some proof. Because that is the most valuable commodity right now. It's truth.
Yep.
And if you have some, I want to know what it is. Share it with me. Let me know. Show me the way. Until then, you know what? All your satsang and meditation and chanting and ritual and symbolism and church services and faith and belief, everything, it's all bullshit. They're distractions and they serve a purpose. So long as I am not using my mind, then I'm perfectly controllable, aren't I?
Yep, you're a pliable slave. Very good. Go to sleep. We'll take care of it for you. The objective is not to have you think for yourself, folks. It's really that simple. They want you to go to sleep and be dead in the head. Hey, you know what? I'm so far from the dead in the head. John, did you have something to say?
Well, yeah, I hear what she's saying. There's a lot of giving your power away is basically what I'm hearing from this. You know what I mean? There's a lot of look outside of yourself, give to this person, give to that person, give your energy to this, give your energy to that. And the thing is, it is about us. We are the perfect creation. We are the perfect consciousness. We are perfectly here, doing exactly what we need to do when we need to do it. That's kind of all I got to say about that, to be honest. I do see it everywhere. I do see how, it's waiting for some hero to save you, and like I mentioned a little bit the other night, how it's all superheroes and all this kind of stuff, and the superhero saves the day and stuff like that.
Yeah, right.
Gets the mentality, right? Gets the mentality that someone's going to save me and someone's going to help me out of this and do, and it's us who helps us. It's us who puts our energy. You know what I mean? Exactly, right?
Exactly.
You mean freedom with responsibility, John? Actually making decisions for your own self?
Exactly. And that's
what a novel concept
right now.
and it's our consciousness that is being guided. We are shown these movies, with the superheroes and these archetypes that get into our consciousness and in our awareness, and it gets into our mind, and we give credence to them. We give over our power to them. It's insidious. It happens on such subtle levels. Mind, body, and spirit. It happens so very subtly that unless you have an awareness of it, you don't have a choice. You cannot have a choice until you have an awareness of what is going on. And once you have an awareness, then it has to do with drawing that line. And Peter, you and I again on that discussion about drawing the line. When do you draw the line? Well, you draw the line when you know. when you know with every fiber of your being that you can't be having any more of the old, that you can't continue on the way that things are going on. This is for yourself. It will be a personal apocalypse. If you have not been naked and crying on your bathroom floor because things cannot keep on the way they are keeping on, just spasms racking your body, crying, begging, praying, you reach a point of surrender. That's the line. That is the line. And until you've reached that point, you don't know anything about a line.
Yeah.
I hope that doesn't sound. Well, you know what? I don't care what it sounds like. That's my opinion.
Well, it really comes down to.
And I can't speak to anybody about a line unless they've had their personal apocalypse. And it doesn't have to be as drastic as that. For other people, it occurs with ease and grace, and it happens over many years. You know, it's not the cancer or the crushing financial debt or the accident or the destroyed relationship or, all these things that are taken from us. For some people it does happen with ease and grace and, but we all reach this apocalypse and that's where you draw the line. Are we ready for a break, Peter?
No, I don't think so. No break
okay,
tonight.
That's fine.
Everybody's got to do some heavy lifting.
All right, that's fine.
It's a weather issue over on the other side, and hopefully about on the top of an hour we'll be able to go to a break. I would like to, anyways.
No problem.
But anyways, now I lost my train of thought.
We were discussing about the line, and we were discussing. Can I jump in with this? I'd like to quote from that book. Remember that I was reading to you? Would that be appropriate at this time?
Yeah, sure. I love it.
It's called Spiritual Warfare, and the author is Jed McKenna. And this guy sees things exactly as I see them, except he is an absolute artist with words. And I don't recommend this book to anyone, ironically, because this is the real advanced course. Again, Spiritual Warfare, and his name is Jed McKenna. So he's discussing, ironically, and this, we're talking about synchronicities, Peter, because we had been discussing drawing the line. You make a stand. I'm quoting from his book now. You make a stand. You say, that's it. I've had enough. This is as far as I go till this shit starts making sense. And you mean it with your whole life and being. You put it all on that line. Until you do that, you ain't done nothing. You're just going along to get along. And then he continues, usually when we think of someone drawing a line, making their stand, we think they're committing themselves to an all-or-nothing battle, here and now, on this spot, live or die. Like a fight, like put up your dukes, but it's really not. It's the end of fighting, the end of a lifelong struggle. Drawing this line doesn't mean battle stations, red alert, DEFCON 1, and all that. It's not that kind of battle. It means we have to lower our shields, not raise them. An objective observer might look at the vast majority of spiritual seekers today and classify them as spiritually self-lobotomized. I love that.
Yep.
They set out to find life and discover truth, and wind up sitting in a dark room repeating a meaningless syllable, eyes closed, brain silenced, convinced that they're actually making a great journey. That's how easily and effectively we are undone. And it's because the enemy is within, running the show, redeploying all of our mental and emotional resources against us. Instead of adopting a warlike posture, we must counterintuitively lower our shields and defenses. This seems confusing until we understand that we are both the protagonist and the antagonist in this conflict, both attacker and defender. This is the paradoxical nature of the struggle. Sorry. We can't win by fighting. The very thing that fights, that resists, is the thing we seek to overthrow. I want to repeat that. The very thing that fights, that resists, is the thing we seek to overthrow. Only in surrender can we find victory. This is the part so few get, and fewer get beyond. This is the part where everything starts sounding all sagely or zen-y or Orwellian, but that can't be helped. If you want to say that all religions and spiritual teachings share a core truth, it can only be this: surrender is victory. I'd like to continue because in the book he's discussing with someone who's going through, her personal apocalypse, her finding of the line and drawing of it, and ultimately her surrender. He says to her, only when you stopped fighting did you start winning. What you've gone through was a big deal, like a dam bursting. Such an event requires a long, slow build-up, as a hardened and reinforced structure slowly succumbs to forces that must eventually prevail. The release, when it finally comes, is going to be violent and tumultuous and destructive, but the dam created an unnatural imbalance, and it had to give way sooner or later. After the dam bursts, the built-up pressures are expended, the waters settle, equilibrium is restored, and everything returns to its natural, harmonious, balanced state. Maybe you feel bad about the villages and crops that got decimated, or the man-made lake that got drained, but whatever relied on the imbalance provided by this unnatural obstruction was always in peril, doomed from the start. I want to repeat that last part. Whatever relied on the imbalance provided by this unnatural obstruction was always in peril, doomed from the start. And then he continues on. Everyone wants to maintain their state of radical imbalance, all their energy and life force held to one side of this artificial barrier rather than undergo this personal apocalypse. And it reminds me of a quote which fortunately I printed out for myself because I'm very well aware of my talent at mangling what other people have said. Mm-hmm. And it's by Anais Nin. And she said, and the day came when the risk to remain tight in a bud was more painful than the risk it took to blossom. And it all has to do with energies. We hold on, we let go. And it is a choice. And I want to bring another quote in here by an American Indian called Chokwash, a native. The elders have sent me to tell you that now is like a rushing river, and this will be experienced in many different ways. There are those who would hold on to the shore. There is no shore. The shore is crumbling. Push off into the middle of the river. Keep your head above the water. Look around to see who else is in the river with you, and celebrate.
Yep. Beautiful. Folks, I think I know I've come to many of my lines in the sand that where I just said, no more. I call it standing in the breach. Like I say, doing anything else than what I'm doing right now is not a viable option. Standing fast, so that my daughters can inherit the insane train that, if left unattended, it will crash and burn. So I do this for my kids. This is where I started with all this, and so effectively, folks, I'm down for losing it all. It's all good. You know what? Because when you lose it all, it's okay. I know this is a foreign concept to most people's mind, but when I got nothing else to lose, that's when I win. That's when I get to move forward because I have absolutely nothing to lose. So when you've pretty much gone down to the bottom of the pecking order, that's a good thing because it makes it a lot easier for the transition to give over because you ain't taking nothing with you. You come into this world bare-ass naked and you're leaving the same way, folks. There's nothing you're taking with you. I promise. You don't see no U-Hauls chasing, those black cars that take you to the boneyard. Anyways, yeah. Ask them. I gotta go here. People put they put their energy into things when they should be putting their energy into their brothers and sisters, because that's where the real value is. That's where the love is. That's where the heart is. But we've gone woefully quiet over the last 100 years. Yes, there's good-spirited people out there who are doing some heavy lifting. But for the most part, everybody's been nullified and gone to sleep, and they forgot that see, in life, it's those beautiful moments of sharing your heart and your soul with another kindred spirit. That's the substance. That's the real meat and potatoes. That's where the heart is, folks, and that's everything good. Not how many friggin' Mercedes I got in the damn driveway, not how many houses I can amass, not how many, folks, I'm not anti having things. I'm saying, yeah, you want a roof over your head and whatever. I understand all that. But the point I'm trying to make is how much is enough and when's enough? Like I say, it's just another friggin' thing you got to take care of, and then you got to pay over to it because you registered it, and the bloodsuckers, you're feeding them your energy. Anyways, I'm ranting, but anyways,
just imagine, if we had a world that we actually did live in the positive. We all these technologies that have been hidden and stolen from us. We would have perfect water. We'd have more than enough food. We'd have, why are people fighting? They're fighting over food and resource and all this, and we waste enough food every day in the world to feed the whole world 10 times over. You know what I mean? But it's all because of this greed and all this negativity and warring and all this kind of stuff. And if the whole world was at peace, it sounds like a kumbaya thing, but that's the thing. Everyone wants peace. You talk to most people and they want peace. It's just the ones that want control, they keep us separated. And the separation is the negative. You know what I mean? We need to get the positive, and we need to, it's almost like we got to start, like, you've got these closed-in communities and gated communities and stuff like that. Well, why don't we start these communities, where you start, bringing up our children to be aware of what's going on, to eat healthy, and you got communities that are growing, healthy foods, and we're not wasting our time, working at 9 to 5, and so that we can pay enough money and get enough money to get back to that work the next day, on this rat race, and we're making no money for anybody but the guys that own the companies and all this kind of stuff, we've got so many resources on this planet, they talk about the water, lack of water and all this kind of stuff, and why? It's because we're a throwaway society. We just throw away, we make stuff to break, and we continue it, and, I was watching a movie the other day, it was about these birds that are 2,000 miles from any coastline, and they're all dying because they're full of all our waste and garbage that goes into the ocean, that they just put into the oceans. And I'm talking lighters and balloons and all the plastics and spoons and cups, and like these birds are eating, and just whole islands of these birds dying off and stuff like that because of this throwaway society. And why? Because of this fiat money. We're all chasing this money, instead of, having things that last and having healthy minded individuals. Like, can you imagine we actually had a society of knowledgeable people, that were trying to actually better the world. You know what I mean?
What an absolute threat. A person
right?
who has the ability to ask questions and who can think clearly. My God, are you kidding?
And doesn't have
none of
Can't have that.
John, what the hell? What's wrong? What's wrong with you, brother? You need to get your mind right. Why don't you go?
You've been eating organic food there, John?
Back to sleep.
Open up that pineal a bit, eh?
Hey,
right.
Exactly.
Yeah, but exactly, you know what I mean? And it's almost like, how do we start this? We do need to come together. We do need to start making like-minded communities and stuff like that. We're so spread out, but there's so many thousands of us out there that have the same concept and stuff like that don't want to continue the same old everyday lies and destruction of our planet and stuff like that. And we've got, we've almost got to set up these type of things to show the other people that it can be done, and that we can put communities like this together, and not be.
I'd like to jump in, John.
Yeah.
We're talking about communities, and something that is authentic, like something that is, spiritually in alignment with our true nature. I have to tell you a story. A few years ago, I was, I attended a Buddhist sangha. I took a couple of classes and I wanted to find out more. I'm able to hold an open question and not come to any answers until I've had sufficient information, and then I can come to my own ideas about things. They're really nice people. I just started getting issues from the beginning. We were required to bow down at the beginning, at the end, and at the end of a class, and it was to a poster at the front, which was, I think it was the Japanese character for Tao, which is the way. And look, I was new, sure, I bowed down, but I really had an issue with it. And I asked a girl, and she said, "Oh, well, you're not bowing down to the poster, you're just bowing down to the idea."
Okay,
and I thought that was even worse.
Yeah, exactly.
But that made it even worse for me. So, look, I allowed, and I was like, okay, I'm open mind. I'm still going to find out what these people are up to. They're doing a lot of charitable works, and they do body work, shiatsu, and look, I want to find out. The other thing was, so there was the bowing down aspect, and, there was the chanting aspect. They would do chanting, and look, I just couldn't. The more it was foisted on me, the more I didn't want it. It was, first of all, it was in Japanese, spelled out phonetically, so I could say the sounds, but it didn't mean anything to me. Where's the value in that? Where's the meaning in that? No, nothing. I don't want to participate. I don't know what I'm saying. What am I invoking here? And the third thing that I really had an issue with was, gosh, this is just Michelle's issues night, isn't it?
Yeah, well, I'll tell you what, why don't we go to the break and come back after the hour, because we have plenty of time. Folks, we're little weather issues on the other side of the fence, so we weren't able to go to the last break, but that's where we're trying to live, inside of you, folks. It starts with us. Everything is inside of us. It's a beautiful song. If you listen to the lyrics, it'll give you a little bit more clarity. Folks, they want us to be, like I say, stuck on stupid. Go to neutral zone, not to literally move forward on any level. Anyways, folks, we're back on the top of the hour with Michelle's going to bring us some more perspective. Hey, folks, we're doing a little more heavy lifting today, but folks, this is where we're living. This is where we got to make the change. If we don't make the shift, we're going to get jammed up. Okay, so it's doable. It's all doable. You have but one life, folks. You're here for a flicker. Be the change you want to be. I talk about this with Brother Michael all the time. We are affecting the change. We are taking an action. It does require you to do something. I go into this action. But, folks, it's a beautiful thing when you start living life on purpose, because it just comes back so much better. It's beautiful. The more I give, the more I get. It's the law of reciprocity. It actually works. Who would have thought? See, because they want us to squander our energy. I'm throwing it all in, folks. I'm giving it all. Because when I do that, it gets to come back to me. The concept is so simple, most people just they don't get it. The more I give, the more I get. It's with my brothers, my sisters. Like I say, live life on purpose. I go out of my way to try and interject something positive in somebody else's life. Instead of being stuck in my own narcissistic, non-compliant, non-functional, paradigm. That doesn't work anymore, folks. It's about giving over, but it's not about laying down. It's about just giving over, moving forward, surrender. Just like Michelle says, it's when we say surrender, we're not saying we're saying go into ground. We're saying complete the circuit. Use your energy. Like I say, when I talk about drawing a line in the sand, hey, you're putting down all the fight, and you're just moving. They can't take what if you're not feeding that energy in that context, they can't take it. But the more you go to it, or get in your mind and get angry and whatever, and all the frustrations, you're feeding all that energy out. You're losing yourself. Anyways, I ranted for a minute. I'm sorry, Michelle.
Right. No, that's perfect. That's. Look, you see things the way I do, Peter. We don't. I don't see things as they are. I see them as I am. And when I change myself, I change the world. And that's exactly what you were talking about. When you go out and, you're the man that you are and you do the things that you do, you're changing the world in knowing your true nature. And I want to just come back to what I was discussing before on my rant, mine. About the Buddhist Sangha that I was attending. So for me it was, the least offensive of the organized world religions, and I had to sniff around and see what they had to offer. The last observation that I just want to make on it is, the people were very nice, but look, they're human, like everyone else, and there are tensions and little battles and things that I noticed never really got addressed. And I would see these people just white-knuckling their spirituality, smiling through these clenched teeth. I'm spiritual, I'm enlightened, even though they want to rip the head off the other guy because he said something that they're not in agreement with. And it was just, for me, it was just this comedy of, okay, you're playing a role, you're acting like you're all enlightened and spiritual and stuff. My God, what another distraction, what another diversion, Instead of maybe seeing that these things that rise up, these emotions that you might feel, or a problem that arises, it's an opportunity. It's an opportunity for me to look at it. But the thing is, we don't like problems. We run away from them. But you know what? My problem is mine. And in going through that problem, it has to do with drawing the line somehow. Everything happens in the moment. The problem resolves itself 90% if I just address the problem. And, the solution will come to me. It's not in fighting that energy, because the problem is an energy, and it comes at me. And in me going through it, look, it's, we were talking about Aikido. In the physical world, if someone is coming to me, attacking me, then I will use his energy in a loving way, and I will guide him down to the ground gently, so I don't hurt him or break his bones or anything. It's the physical representation of how I deal with my challenges or problems. You have to you transcend the fear. You become the alchemist. You see the fear as an opportunity. You face the situation. You accept the negative energy. No reaction. And by accepting it, it becomes transformed. And you have changed yourself. Gosh, does any of this make sense?
Yep. Oh, I get it.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
I'll break it down. A little simple way I see that is, I remember when I was a kid, you get in trouble or something like that, and the fear of telling your parents or something like that was so much worse than facing your parents and just getting it done and over with. You know what I mean? The fear and the anxiety of the moment of getting to that and all that. It was always the fear that was worse. Half the time you go and admit what you did and stuff like that. Your parents were so pleased that you admitted it and did the right thing, that it was actually a good experience, right? So life's like that, we've got so many, fears out there and stuff like that, and I find that, definitely if you face your fears and face your bullies and stuff like that, it's never as bad as you think, and it's always usually a relief, to face that, because that's all this is. This is just an experience. Like Pete says, we don't take anything with us, but we do take the experience. That is all we take with us. Go ahead.
It's John, it's almost like the problem is just an opportunity for you to face the fear. The problem elicits the fear in you, and when I have the fear, and this is the paradox. This is the paradox. When I face the fear, I have to summon my courage to pass that test that requires courage. In other words, it's in me. Fear and courage go together. The fear elicits the courage, but you know what? I had to have the courage to face the fear.
Exactly.
And that it's a test. It's a gift to myself to remind me of how courageous I am, of how much power I have. And, you know, the problem is pretty much secondary, I think. What do you think, John?
Well, exactly. You know, it is pretty much secondary. This is where we're at. You know, this is what the problem with the world is. You know, no one wants to face up or fear. Everyone wants to be comfortable. You know, I'll exclude our listeners because our listeners are probably ones you know, are looking out to you know, to find out what's going on and to, you know, not afraid to find out the truth and what's going on. But
I'd
that's
like
where
to
it starts.
Yeah. I'd like to jump into the topic of infantilization. And hey, Peter, we were discussing this a while ago, how we're pretty much kept in a state of arrested development. We are kept as children. We look outside of ourselves for systems and governments and whatnot to take care of our problems for us, instead of claiming our own power, claiming responsibility, and growing up.
Yeah, there's very little adults in the world anymore. Yeah, you're quite right there. Yeah, that's true. There's a lot of childlike men in this world and women and stuff, and you see it all the time. You know, people just taking temper tantrums, and you know what I mean. Like, it's
that's right, because it's them. It's their fault. It's them.
Yeah.
It's my rights, me, mine.
Yeah.
Right.
Yep.
It's their fault. I'm gonna sue. I'm gonna.
Yeah.
You know, and it's insidious. It's in the media. You know how it's just so.
It's part of the mind control to keep people separated. Like I say,
right.
If
we
we
have
were all together,
man
this would
boys.
be a utopia.
Right, and you know, like in the media, for us to give consent in the etheric, we accept that the actors and whatnot, the celebrities, they're all these man boys. Up to no good, and you know the stories behind and what they're doing, and somehow, and the women are made to be childlike somehow. You know that it's attractive that a woman is, you know, made to dress as though she's a teenager, and you know these 40-year-old women promenading around like they're teenagers, and just these. It's a mind hack, people. It's a mind hack. I don't know what else to say.
Yeah, well...
Am I off the deep end, Peter?
Right. No. This is the superficiality of the world, folks. They want you to do the dog and pony show. I guess I'm sort of superficial. I mean, because I like building muscles, but you know what? That's my shell. But like I was explaining but I do it for me, for physical well-being, and I don't do it... I'm not doing it for anybody else. I don't care if anybody doesn't like my shell. I don't care. Michelle, I'm sure you'll like my shell if you ever see it. But yeah, you know, I'm just a shell of a man, okay? Look at the words. But, folks, this is my vessel, and I try and treat it as best I can, but it's not narcissism. It's because I care enough about myself to, like I say, when I do the weight therapy, folks, it lets me know I'm alive. I feel every fiber, every nerve, the blood gushing into the muscle tissue. It's a beautiful thing, and it lets me know I'm alive. So that's another part of, mind, body, and spirit. It all comes down to mind, body, and spirit. You can't leave one element out of your system. Anyways. But it's not narcissism. It's not falsity. It's not superficiality. I do it because I can and I need to, because it's part of my being, of my whole, the three pegs on the stool. You have mind, body, and spirit. So, you know, if you leave one element out, you're not complete. So this allows me to be complete. But it's not about a dog and pony show. What?
Well, it's like this, Pete, you know. You're living life for yourself, or you're living life for others. And if you know what I mean, you're living your life for yourself to improve yourself. You know what I mean, for yourself. And there's nothing wrong with that. you know. When you're trying to live and give your power, again, away so that others can judge you and others, you know what I mean, and worrying about what others think and stuff like that, again, you are giving away your power to those people instead of taking that power into yourself and loving yourself unconditionally. I mean, that's the first step to most people. You know, you really got to love yourself. Like, I can look in the mirror and, you know, I love myself. You know, I love the man that I am and
we love you
who
too,
I turned out to be. I love you guys too. Yeah, but that's really where it starts. That's where your confidence starts. That's, you know, and we've been taught, you know, like you say, it's a mind hack. We're taught to be so feeble and so down on ourselves and so introverted because the world's judging us and the world's thinking about us. Who cares? You know what I mean? It's about you, right?
Even past that, I've decided for myself it's none of my business what other people say or think about me.
Exactly.
Absolutely none of my business.
They
are free to have their opinions. It's not a debate.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. But it's very freeing, right, when you get to that point in your life. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's extremely freeing. Like my fiance I have now, she's one of those really cared what her parents thought and stuff like that. And they're pretty prim and proper and pretty blissfully unaware and stuff. And she was always a questioner in her life. And she was always taught, don't talk that foolish talk and all this kind of stuff. You know what I mean? But she was always curious and always asked the questions and always learning, right? And when she met me and it was just basically we clicked and we supported each other, and it was like, oh, you believe what I believe, and oh, I see, how you see things, and it was very freeing for her. And now, like I say, she's up there standing in court to judges and everything else, and people think she's crazy or whatever, and she's happy with it. That's a badge of honor for her, because then she's doing something right. Because if they're calling you crazy and then in the same world, you must be doing something right, So. She's got her power now, and she's not afraid to stand to anybody, and she loves herself, and this is where it needs to start. We need to start with ourselves. It's all about you. You know what I mean? It's not about anybody else. It's not,
Like I say, but it's not about meism or narcissism. It's about, like I say, doing the body thing, folks. It's getting in touch with yourself. It shows you care enough about yourself to actually do something instead of feeding all the poisons and getting your blood sugar all whacked out with all this soda pops, and then you put on 50 pounds. It's ironic because I had a doctor buddy of mine back in the Navy, and he said to me, he goes, "Oh yeah, you're gonna let your body go and whatever." It's ironic. I'm 53 now, and I've never. I took a break for about a year and a half, but I'm back on the back in the saddle. But the whole point being is. This doctor said, "Oh yeah, you're going to get fat and overweight, whatever." You know what? That was his subscription for him. It wasn't mine. He was trying to put his paradigm on me. So folks, your ideology is yours. Don't put your mojo on me. It's all good, So, but like I say, folks, this is not about meism and narcissism. It's about caring enough about yourself to actually treat your vessel with respect. It's the only one you got. That thing's going to carry you around for a while until you go to the boneyard. So you know what? Be the best you can be. Like I say, it's all about mind, body, and spirit, bringing it together, not narcissism and meism. Big difference. Anyways, I'm ranting.
No, that's good. Love your rant.
Perfect.
Peter, I'd like to bring it back to, we were discussing about, how some people will not see that they have a choice. We were discussing the material, and ultimately, I did this major, I'll do these periodic major purges of my possessions. I live very modestly, but at a certain point I realized that my possessions were possessing me in the energy that I put into keeping them clean and maintained and all that stuff. So I just basically pared things down to the minimum, but a comfortable minimum, and just that space that I created allows me to, I don't know, it's a physical space, but it also is a space that allows for that which is coming in. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Materialists, I don't think, understand that. I want to bring our focus onto something that I read to you over the phone a few days ago. It was from the book The Universal One by Walter Russell. Now, he wrote this book. It took him 7 years to write this book, and I'm only at the beginning. And it was written in the 1920s. So the language is different, and the sentences are actually compound sentences. We're not used to that, are we? Because, in our visual language of movies, of jump cuts and smash cuts and this, that, drag our focus everywhere, fast, 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 his language is compound, and it requires some focus. And I'm going to read it slowly. I'd just like to bring our focus to this. So he says, mind is the cause. Concept precedes form. Mind is causal to all forms in the universe. The knowing mind is like the mind of God. We are an extension of mind created in the image of the one universal mind. It can be likened to a drop of water in the ocean. All of the ocean is in the drop, but the drop is aware of itself as an individual. Whereas some drops differ from others in their awareness that they're not just an individual drop in the ocean, but that they're part of the ocean and that they are the ocean themselves. I'm going to say this twice. The degree of the awareness of your being part of the universal mind is to the degree that you can command the power of the universal mind. And that's why materialists cannot approach this kind of a power. I'm going to repeat that. The degree of the awareness of your being part of the universal mind is to the degree that you can command the power of the universal mind. And that's why materialists cannot approach this kind of a power. The profane are barred from approaching these kinds of mind concepts because they believe in a material universe and that mind is an effect of material. And that's an assumption based on the illusions of matter in motion. That's the prime difference between the science of the mystic and the science of the materialist. The materialist assumes that matter is causal, while the mystic knows that mind is causal. So I think that's a beautiful quote from Walter Russell, The Universal One. And, it's a mental universe. That's why I have to know things.
Yeah. Yeah, we go. Go ahead.
And that's why I'm very discriminating about where I place my focus and what I consent to, what I allow to come into my awareness. If I see a movie with violence and horrible acts, I don't want to consume that. I'm careful with what I feed my mind.
Yep. Yeah. And like I say, everybody, most of what's being fed out there is swill to keep the mind busy. You got all the vampire dealies and all this other the zombie garbage, and we talk about that a little bit. But folks, they're telling you something. They're telling you, basically, they're looking at us in a context that we're all dead asleep, and pretty much that's they've got the nail hit on the head because, like I say, people get up in the morning, they're not living life on purpose. I got to do this so I can do this. I got to do this so I can do this. It's literally the mundane, the obsessed. Like I say, they're not putting any value in what they're doing. They're just they're going through the motions and not living life on purpose in any way, shape, or form. It's not for lack of a better term, it's a misdirected energy form, and it's not going to ground ever. It gets up in the morning, it goes to the job, it comes back, it crawls back in its cubbyhole, it turns on the idiot box, and it is an idiot box because they want you to go to sleep in your mind. If you didn't correspond or go out of your way to do anything on purpose with somebody of kindred spirit for that day. That was a day. That was a day you can never get back, and you can't undo it. You can't unring the bell, folks. Like I say, every day I try and put forth some love, some I can make somebody feel good today just by having the right heart and giving a compliment or going out of my way. Folks, I get emails all day long, and I respond to every one of them, and I show the love on those emails. And my brothers and sisters I know are getting it because you know what? They're coming back with emails, and they're showing me the love. Folks, remember I say what goes around comes around. What you give is what you get. If you give nothing, you get nothing. If you go into the land of narcissism, meism, you know what? I say we deserve nothing, or i.e. we deserve what we get, which is basically nothing because, like I say, they've created us all as a hypothecation event. It's a brain drain. It's an energy stealer, and folks, we're fixing to change that. Anyways,
Peter, can I jump in, or would you like to?
Well,
are we
going to go
for
to
a break?
I think. Yeah.
Okay.
That's where I like to be. Anyways, it's folks, it's all in the heart. I didn't know I had one until about 6 months ago. I got a pulse check, I guess, for lack of a better term. And it's nice to be really alive, folks. Living life on purpose each day, getting up a new exciting, moving forward. Like I say, it's easy to get stuck in the mind on the negative, folks. I can go sideways pretty quick. Some people can attest to that. But I'm trying to get balance, folks. So like I say, I'm just an excitable boy, just like Warren Zevon says. It's just a type A personality. I know who I am. It's all good. But I redirect the flow. Now it's redirected flow. Anyways, folks, it really is. It's about your energy, your res. Everybody has it. I'm sick and tired of people stealing mine, so I quit giving over. Anyways, what do you think, Michelle?
Here's one way that I refused to give over my res, my energy. When I was looking into this, I'm going to come back to this silly Buddhist Sangha that I was taking some classes at, and the first tenet that they mention is, in Buddhism, life is suffering. And I was,
what a crock.
Okay. If you people can go ahead and accept that as truth, but I don't. I don't. For me, suffering is the greatest departure from the truth. But see, that's the power of the mind. If somebody comes up to you and says, life is suffering, well, first you have to hear what they're saying, and then you have to hold on to their idea, and then you can accept or reject it. But most people don't even have the ability to hold on to an idea, whatever that idea might be, that's in conflict with what they know is truth. So we're at the point where you and I had this discussion the other day about why are we dragging actors and celebrities to give their opinions on world events? It's like, when did that happen?
Tell me about it.
There we go with the world according to Garp. That's what I said. It's just world. Hey, who died and left your mouthpiece, i.e. the ideology that we're all supposed to grab onto? That's why, folks, we need to think outside the box. That's the whole point. I don't have to subscribe to anybody else's ideology of my own, and that works for me. I don't need a celebrity telling me, go ahead.
Yeah, sorry, Peter. Sorry, it's my phone line, and I don't know when I'm interrupting, so I am sorry because there is a bit of a lag in time. But, why is it that we dismiss people automatically? And this happens in politics all the time now. That, this person...
character assassination.
Exactly, and it's becoming a more and more frequent and more common event that the entire person and all his ideas and thoughts and what he stands for as truth, all these things are completely dismissed. Because we're not able to hold the idea in our own brains that might be in conflict with what we see as truth. So it's a complete dismissal, and we're being... I don't know, it just seems like there's a programming afoot, to make us automatically jump. It's as though we're in a state of constant reaction and not in a state of action. Yep. Action is meditated, planned. It comes from truth. It comes from the center of your personal truth, your authentic self. Call it whatever you want. When you're in alignment, that is action. When I am reacting, I'm off balance. And when I'm off balance, it's not going to look good. You know, what I react to, it's not going to be authentic. You know, and I wonder, why is it that we're so deprived of sleep lately? Why is it that we're running on this wheel of perpetual consumption, go to work to pay for the things that we don't really want or need, but that we're told that we need, and then go to sleep, and then, you know, consume, sleep, work, consume, sleep, work. Just this constant, don't ask questions, keep your head down, you're free to do as we tell you. Just, you know, be good boy, yes, you know, just in this state of infantilization, just do as we tell you, everything's good, we're taking care of you. I don't know, what do you think?
Yeah, well, like I say, you're reduced to, like I say, not living life on purpose. Yeah, you are, like I say, your direction of flow. Yeah, that's all you are.
You're just, you're subsisting. You're not even existing. Forget existence. I think we're just subsisting.
Well, hell, you know, I've worked jobs, 12-hour jobs, where you're standing on a line, pulling wood at a wood chip mill for 12 hours, and talk about marking time in life so that you could draw some sort of goofy substance, but it's not even substance at all, and then they're going to suck a piece of it, and 95 degrees, it's hot, 12-hour days, and literally you're just, it's like you hurry up, you go home, you eat, you wash up, and then you go back and do it again. It's like the days run into each other, but you're not, you're merely existing. You're not even, hell, it's not even hardly survival. It's actually, your brain has gone to sleep. Well, the upside is working a job like that, my brain gets to go to work extra hard because I'm always in the thinking mode. A mundane task, it allows me to actually do some deep digging in my mind, and that's a beautiful place for me because I like being in my mind. I know a lot of people wouldn't be able to hang out in my head for about 24 hours. They'd probably blow up, but it's a good place for me.
What's the expression? What's the expression? It's a nice Peter's head. It's a nice place to visit, but you wouldn't really want to live there.
Yeah, but, hello. That's what I tell my kids too.
And I have so.
Come live in Daddy's head for 24 hours, yeah. Go ahead.
I was going to say, I think that's why you and I have so much in common because, look, I've worked in construction. You couldn't tell from my voice, but I've worked in many classically male-dominated fields. And, you know, I realized at one point, this is ridiculous. I'm getting paid hardly enough for me just to feed the machine so that I can actually do the plastering itself. It's like the battery's going to run out at a certain point.
Yep.
But what I really appreciated about that was, hey, it was me and the wall, and I got a lot of thinking done.
Yeah.
You know, after you learn all the lyrics to all the top 40, you know, you go inward and, you know, you find some truth.
Well, that's where I actually get a lot of my answers when I get to go inside my head. Like I say, whether it be, pipe fitting. Well, pipe fitting actually allows a lot of action and a lot of thinking because you're doing mathematical skills. I like that. My brain really, it's stimulation for the brain. But, I'm not real big on the mundane, like painting and stuff like that. That's not where my mind lives. But I can do it if I have to.
Hey, Pete, let me tell you how simple it was for me. I used to do, 16-hour shifts and stuff like that and 12-hour jobs and all this kind of stuff. And, I learned pretty young that, the more I made, the more I spent, all this kind of stuff, right? And it just went as fast as it came and really nothing to show for it. I rented apartments and, I did the fast food and I did all this kind of stuff. And exactly, you're on the rat race. So, when I was about 29 years of age, I decided, well, I'm going to sacrifice for the next year. and I was making, I wasn't making that much. It was about $36,000 a year, $40,000 a year, and stuff like that. And I saved, and I lived on about $10,000 in 1 year, and I went and bought a house, and I paid off pretty much 85% of the house, and had the rest of it paid off within a year.
Wow.
I set up my own greenhouse when I got out country and stuff like that. So I didn't have a mortgage. None of my cars have. I don't have expensive cars. My cars are $2,000 to $5,000 and stuff like that, but they're paid for. No monthly bills that way. We're setting up windmills right now. That this is where I put all my money into, in the windmills and solar and all this kind of stuff. So
cool.
That I could be self-sufficient. So I didn't have to do the right. Now, don't get me wrong. Some days I put in 12 hours for myself now. Because
yeah, exactly.
And all this kind of stuff. But it's my sweat equity. It's for my family. And we get to sit around and enjoy family time. When they're here and all this kind of stuff, we got to sit down and they had their mom and their dad here, and we got to sit down and talk and have meals together, and live life together and get to know each other and all this kind of stuff. Instead of the parents being gone all the time, the kids are in babysitters half the day. They see enough to get home exactly out the door next morning, and it's just. That's why they have the zombie films, like you say, because that's exactly what you're doing, just in this rat race. So that's how I did it, and I didn't have all that kind of money or anything else. I'm not a rich guy or anything, but I've gotten to the point now where I've got 60 acres of land out here. I've got a house that's paid for. It's a modest house. But it's got 3 floors. It's heated. It's got wood stove. It's got its own power. And I am 95% self-sufficient now.
That's huge. That's beautiful.
Exactly. And with not that much. It's not like people think to get off the grid and all this kind of stuff. It takes all this kind of money. It just takes a little sacrifice, a little saving, and willing to start with a little and build as you go.
Well, brother, I think outside the box all the time. I actually dig into information. I like survival. It's a good thing. I know how to take a mud puddle and convert it into actual drinkable water. Just little concepts like that.
Exactly,
I could take 16 bricks, create a rocket stove, so I would have a functional capacity to actually cook if the grid was down or whatever. See, I think like that. 99% of my brothers are screwed. If it comes down to it, they don't even know how long to boil a water. Anyways, I mean. Like I say, I go to places where nobody else's minds will, because I'm into self-sufficiency. Is a real good concept. So I'm not a burden to anybody else. See, that's called freedom with responsibility. Here I go with the heavy lifting for myself. And you know what? I don't need somebody else to save me. I can save myself. Hey, Doc Goslin's on call. It's all good. I write myself a script to get my mind right, and then I can do anything I want. I don't need the government giving me anything. I don't want nothing from you folks. Keep it, even though they're hypothecating our state, they're using our substance. It's all good. I want nothing from them. I don't want benefits. I want my rights, and I already know what my rights are. I'm a man. So, I don't need you to come bring me gallons of water when a storm hits. I'm self-sufficient. I can operate in a different capacity. 10 years in the military, 8 years running up and down hills with my brothers in green. That was a really good life learning experience on how to be functional in an environment that's sort of hostile, how to pitch a tent, or how to take care of your body when it's hot or cold, all this stuff. These are all life experiences that allow me. You know what? Knowledge, I always say knowledge is power. Brother, that's where I live. It's always knowledge is power. That's why,
exactly, and that's true. We need to be learning every day, because there's so much to learn in this world. I find, the more I learn, the more I don't know anything, and I know 95% more than most people I hang out with. And, I'm like, wow, I don't really know anything, but I study, hours and hours and hours for years and years and years, and I'm always learning something, you know what I mean? It doesn't matter what topic is. I'm an information junkie. you know, and the more, like you say, the more you learn, the more you're like, well, I don't know anything, you know, and it's like, well, if I don't know anything, well, what's going on with the rest of these people, you know, and it's like, yeah, you got to be educating every day, and that's another thing that school does to our children and stuff like that. They make it education and learning and all this, they hate it. By the time they get out of school, I remember when I got out of school, you know, that was the last thing I ever wanted to do was go back to school. And then it just so happened, you know, I wanted to be independent, and I had to learn, and the more I learned, the more I enjoyed, and the more I enjoyed, the more I learned, kind of thing. And because I was able to, you know, learn what I wanted to learn and study what I wanted to learn. I wasn't force-fed, you know, ideologies and stuff that's not going to help me in my life, and you know. So that's the other thing too, with the cookie cutter schools and stuff like this. You know, these are individuals. These are unique beings. All these children, you know, that have all these great skills that can be harnessed and brought out in them and stuff like that, but we treat them all the same, you know, and it's
That's
just
right.
it's horrible, you know, just this cookie cutter mentality, and we wonder why we are in the shape we're in and why we
they don't want individuality. They don't want people to think outside the box. They sure as hell don't want like people like Brother Peter being independent, where I don't have to ask you for a damn thing. Move your happy ass down the road. I don't want nothing from you. Go. Bye. Have a nice day. Later. You know, get your big cup and move on, brother. It's all good. You know, we all know about my big cup. I'm not going to go into it tonight.
Yes, we know
but
that joke. We won't say it to the listeners.
I'll let everybody in on that sometime down the road. You'll like folks. My big cup analogy actually works. Anyways, but hey, you know, folks. You know, and I talk about knowledge being power, but the whole point of the exercise is, folks, you need to come to my house. Okay, come over to my house at privates.me, and I promise you're going to have a paradigm shift. If your eyes are open, you're folks. Hey, we're beating the brakes off of third-party liars, crooks, and thieves. It's really, really simple. These concepts, hey, they're simple. They're very simple. Michael and I did the heavy lifting, and we create. That's what we do. Matter of fact, we're going into creation mode again, because this is what we do. See, that's called living life on purpose. So I talk about knowledge being power, because the more I learn, the more I can affect the change in my world of what be the change I want to be. This is called living life on purpose. When you take an action on your own behalf, I have a vested interest in me. I have a vested interest in you. You're my brothers and sisters. I love you. So my objective is to help you love yourself and move your life forward. If you don't like what you're being sold, then get off the damn slave ship lollipop and, hey, come on over to my house, and I'm going to show you how to move forward in a different direction. It's your life. You're here for a flicker. If you want to give it over and go back to sleep, that's your option. But, you know, folks, none of us needs to be a waste of space. We can be doing so many good things, and there's so much information. I mean, I really want to go bigger is better. I have so much other information. Like I say, even on, you know, emergency stuff, how to be self-sufficient on multiple levels, you know. So, you know, I'm going to go there because I can. But anyways, for those who haven't gone over to my house, y'all need to go over because it's free. Like I say, I set up this 8-week educational curriculum so you'd have a starting point. I don't want you being in the dark anymore. And you don't have to be in the dark. That's the whole point. It's a choice. Hey, freedom comes with responsibility and requires you to take an action and come on over. The water really is fine. Yeah, we use the water vernacular. I was in the Navy, so, gee, it sort of fits. Talk about irony. They sent me to a place, my very first command was in all places, folks. It was called China Lake, California. It was a naval weapons center, and there ain't no lake there. It's a dry lake bed. You got to love California. Yeah. So, but anyways, we get water. Where was the water? I was looking for the damn water. Anyways, folks, you can come on over to my house, and it's not you can get in the kiddie pool. You can start in the kiddie pool, and then you can come over to my Olympic-sized pool when you're ready to get to the next day. And you won't need floaties. Anyways, I got a little excited. Anyways, folks,
it's good.
You know, if people are having third-party debt issues, folks, come take a look at it. If you haven't seen my video, the 12-minute video, Brother Zach did an excellent job for me on creating this thing. Click on it. Go over to either Blog Talk US and go watch 12 Minutes of Truth. Yeah, go watch 12 months of Verdict Productions. Go watch 12 Minutes of Truth and see if it fits. If you like giving over, you can do that too. Everybody has a choice, but you don't have to. Hey, you know what? It's be the change you want to be. Change your paradigm. Yeah, go watch that 12-minute video. I didn't want to rant for 2 hours on a deal, so I said, okay, I guess I'm going to do a 12-minute snippet which is really hard for Peter because he does get long-winded. Anyways, but that's all right. I broke it down succinctly, directly. So, hey, folks, if you're having issues with bottom feeders, hey, guess what? You get to put them to bed. I promise it works. Anyways, it's just a little paradigm shift, folks. And we've already done the...
And Peter... Sorry, again, time lag, sorry. I don't want to interrupt. I know why you and Michael started with the debt validation package. I know why your first prong is dealing with debt collectors. I want to give a story really quickly because I know we're almost at the end of our time.
Yeah.
The one course I ever failed in my life was a physics class that I took in college, and it was electricity and magnetism. I would arrive usually late to class because the class that I had previously was very far away. So I would show up late. I would have a seat at the back. I wouldn't hear the teacher properly. And she had an accent. She was from an Eastern country. And she was speaking, her other language was French, and then she was translating into English. Look, I had some problems. Wasn't understanding. Failed the class, only by a few marks, but still I failed. So I had to take the class again during the summer. Dr. Johnson was my teacher, and I got an A. And the way he taught the class, he would start off with 10 quick questions, multiple choice, one-word answers, true-false type questions that he would call confidence builders. And once you did all those questions, it was a test for yourself. Oh, yeah, I know that. Okay, sure, of course I know this. So that gave you a foundation so that when you got into the actual, big problem-solving, heavy lifting part of the exam, the mathematical application of the physics principles that then you would know. And, I got an A. And I know that you and Michael are offering to people your debt validation package because it's a confidence booster. Because
right, you start small. This is an easy uphill climb, folks. That's the whole point.
And it's totally doable. I did this on my own before I learned of you and Michael and your website, privatist.me, and the information that you're sharing with people. I did have a situation that I had to face. When I was plastering, I bought some private liability insurance because I was on my own doing my plastering. I don't like working for companies, and I don't like having the various mafias taking a part of what my sweat and my efforts and my labor brought about. So, I would go on my own, and I had my own private clients, and I did get private liability insurance. The insurance period ended, and then they sent me a bill. And I called them up and I said, "Look, I let it lapse. I no longer require your insurance or your services." And they said, no, you have to pay. And I said, no, this lapsed. So I put together my own letter, and I dealt with it. Look, I'm a person of honor, and I was requiring for them to present to me their claim, showing me proof that somehow I owed them some money for a time period when I did not require their services. Yep. I did not pay for another renewal of the insurance. So anyway, long story short, I dealt with them on my own, but knowing, from a standing of knowing who I am, and that the people that I deal with, I hope, are as honorable as I like to think that I am. And, I invited them to show me any proof that, I had renewed my contract with them, and they couldn't, and they didn't, and that was that.
Yeah.
But what you and Michael are presenting is absolutely watertight. Okay, I know we're at the end of the show, aren't we?
Yeah. Anyways, folks, okay. We're burning the midnight oil up to. This is the last minute of folks, we thank you for sharing, caring, and we thank you for coming to our house, i.e., in the spirit of things. Stand fast. Come back into the breach with Brother Peter on Tuesday, and we'll get into deeper topics. Yes, and over at privates.me, we actually deal with crap like the IRS and how to properly fill out forms and how to take yourself off the plantation, divest yourself of the 14th Amendment slave ship status. That's a start. And the reason you need to is because you're part of the body politic. You don't have the right to complain about anything. But it's a simple administrative one-pager, and it actually settles that issue. Anyways, folks, if you haven't been over the site, it's a plethora. Michael keeps redoing new, beautiful things to it. It's where we live. So come on over where we live. You are invited. You have my permission, and you have my consent. So on that note, I love everybody. Thank you, Michelle, for bringing us some beautiful paradigms tonight, changes, and Brother John. Brother John, I'll be bringing my flashlight on Tuesday as usual, we will roll for that. So for all those that were here tonight, we love you, and we'll catch you on the rebound. Have a great night. Bye-bye.
Good night.
Thank you. Good night.
All right, folks, welcome back to In the Spirit of Things. Time to get on this roller coaster ride. Strap yourself in. Keep your hands in the car at all times. Don't want anybody losing any limbs tonight. Anyways, I just thought I'd throw that in for short measure. Anyways, folks, new direction of flow. We're getting a lot more continuity of getting our minds right on a different level. And tonight we're going to cover a little bit about how to draw a line in the sand and go to peace. To address life's issues, and also how to live with purpose and be the change you want to be. Also, we're going to cover a little bit with Brother Johnny, the latest updates on Brother John's issues with the courts in Canada. Anyways, folks, if you haven't seen that video with Brother John, it's posted over on our YouTube page over there at privatist.me. It's also on Blog Talk US, and it's also over at in5d.com. And I want to give a big shout-out to Brother Greg over at N5D, and we really thank you for doing a little heavy lifting for us over here In the Spirit of Things, because we want to bring this to your front door. We appreciate your posts, and we appreciate all you do. So with that, here's your shout-out, brother. I got you covered. Anyways, Michelle, was that paramount that we give a little shout-out and some love to my brothers over at N5D?
Absolutely. I think Greg is doing fantastic work over at in5d.com, and I'm just happy that he's giving us some attention too. So yes.
Yep. Well, we can all use a little attention. Anyways, folks, Brother Johnny, we're going to bring him on in the loop on the front end because I'd like to address his status. Like I say, folks, I just bring a bigger flashlight so that they can scamper a little quicker. And when I say that, that's the nefarious ones behind closed doors. They don't want their dirty deeds coming out and getting aired in public, sort of like what's happened to Brother Dean and all this other stuff. They figure we're all going to go to sleep and go along, get along. Folks, that paradigm, that ship has set sail. Hey, folks, you got the power. You just didn't realize it. So we're going to show you how to bring some of that back. I don't need any decision makers. I don't need anybody giving me their skewed view and their perspective, i.e. their world according to GARP or their Forrest Gump moment, because everybody's got an opinion. I mean, I get lots of them out there, but they always come from a twisted perspective or not a factual. Anyways, the facts were out. Anyways, with that being said, Brother John, are you in the room?
I'm here, Peter. How are you making out tonight?
Very good, very good.
How you doing, Michelle?
Hi, John. I'm great. How are you?
Oh, doing good. We had a little visit with the kids today.
Yeah.
And it's bittersweet, of course. We're starting to notice they've got him on milk now. They're force-feeding him milk because they're trying to keep his weight up now. And now he's starting to break out an eczema in his face and stuff like this now. And he's starting to have breathing problems now. Because as you know, milk is
that's special.
Yeah, causes mucus in the lungs and all this kind of stuff, and causes asthma. People don't know with all these hormones and all this kind of stuff. So they're just giving them this left and right, and our hands are tied. We can't do anything about it at this point. We have to, stay at peace. So it was definitely.
Why fear? It's an energy. It's a contracted energy, and it's extremely valuable because when we're in a state of fear, we're not asking questions. We're not expanding. We're not growing. And I think man's natural state is one of expansion. I had another idea about the fear aspect and how it's just one huge Ponzi scheme, but we all give it our attention. We all allow it, and in allowing it, we abide by it. We consent. We are drafted for performance, and we consent to it.
Yeah. Exactly. Folks, it's a mathematical anomaly. What that means, an anomaly, means it can never go to ground. It can never become whole. It's, like I say, the fractionalized banking system, I started digging into it about 1988 I started digging into it.
Peter, I have my thought. Can I just interject?
Yes, you can.
Thanks. It's based on debt. So we have a financial system that is based on credit, which is actually debt. Money represents debt because every dollar bill floating around represents money plus interest that is owed back. So it is debt. So not only is it worse than debt, it's less than nothing because you owe back on it. So let's just wrap our heads around that. Not only is there no value to it, but there is less than value to it. There's negative value to it.
Yeah.
How's that for a big, giant black hole?
Yeah, like I say, it's a mathematical equation that'll never be completely. It's the analogy of musical chairs is excellent. Somebody's gonna get screwed in the game of commerce, folks. That's what happens. That's what's happening. There's got to be a loser, and we're getting millions and millions of them every day. People losing their homes, because they didn't know who they were. They didn't know about the trust. They didn't know about the estate. They didn't know any of these things. See, because they just lulled us to sleep, basically. We didn't look beyond the pale. Like I've been asking these questions all my life about, the property tax, this, that, nobody can give me a valid answer. Folks, it's like talking into the abyss. So I try to get direction of flow, but folks, they've created, like I say, everything is just a hypothecation event. When you start putting all these informations together and following the money trail, it all becomes a very apparent, very clear. It's a rigged gig, for lack of a better term. It's a rigged gig. Mm-hmm. So, folks, we're gonna share with you how we can move forward from the rigged gig, because we're moving on in different directions. Anyways, Michelle, I guess I'll let you interject. I'm sort of stuck here.
No, that's fine. That's fine. It's good. I just want to get back to the rigged gig. One of my favorite questions is why. So why the control? Why is it that we follow the money trail and we see the control aspect? Why? And, it comes back to, it's control. It's control. Yeah. Because when I am controlled, I cannot continue asking questions. I am just an automaton, completely homogenized to be like everybody else, getting mine, fighting, scrapping with my neighbors and my coworkers, and in a state of, basically...
It's sweet to see this in our little one, and like I say, things work out in the end.
Yeah, folks. Let me just cover something for a second. So we're talking about milk, folks. For those of you not paying attention, that garbage they pass off as milk out there, folks. I don't drink it. Haven't drank it for years. And now they want to go one step further and share some more poison with you. They want to put aspartame in the milk supply. You can't make this stuff up, folks. I mean, they're poisoning everybody, fluoridating them, chemtrailing them, GMO, genetically modified food products so that your system doesn't work right. Folks, You can't make this stuff up. Yeah, I just caught that over on one of my health reviews. They were talking about they were fixing to bring in aspartame into the garbage milk, folks. And yeah, when you go to the store, look at the labels. Actually read them. Yeah, if it's like sucralose, sucrose, NutraSweet, whatever they have all these different names, but it's aspartame. They got aspartame. They're putting the garbage all over. Folks, I drank Diet Coke for like 14 years when it came out in 1982, and that's when Donald Rumsfeld called in his credits to sell his poison. By the way, folks, all those rats that they did the test on, they're supposed to test stuff before they bring it forward for human consumption. Well, the poor rat bastards, they all died. But they don't tell you that. They don't tell you. Matter of fact, aspartame's an excitotoxin. It's not good for your body. It can actually switch over, create methanol, which is toxic to the liver. Anyways, I was going through the shakes and like an old man. Folks, I thought I was getting dadgum, what's that disease, Parkinson's or something. I was getting the shakes. I was losing my memory. And it was because the excitotoxins in the system were actually shutting me down because it doesn't allow for the synapse of the brain cells to actually function correctly. So if your electromagnetic flow is compromised, that's not a good thing. But this is the crap they're putting in. So I don't know, folks.
Well, they're also putting them in our vaccines as well, Peter. You know what I mean? Like I say, if you go to vaccine.com, you'll see it there listed, and that's exactly what it does. It's a cytotoxin. And it just rapidly, puts your metabolism into envelope shock, basically, when they give this to you, right? And we wonder why the obesity and all this kind of stuff is so high and stuff like that is because they've damaged the human body prematurely with this toxin and stuff like that, which puts the body in a disrupted state and it can't recover. And then, you know what I mean? It's just absolute genocide, like slow kill genocide, brutal.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, definitely let people know what's going on.
Yeah, I was I was reading. Matter of fact, over on our site, we have Sweet Misery, folks. If you've never seen that, it's like a 52-minute video that actually covers its aspartame garbage, so you can get a little clarity. Because I actually post stuff of substance, so you don't think that I just made it up and it's considered hearsay. So go over to the site, privatist.me, and have some fun. Go take a look at all the stuff I have posted. It's just pulling back the curtain, folks. I got Dr. Rebecca Carley over there for her hour and 15 minutes, and she was a medical physician in the game, in the system, and she knew something was amiss with these vaccinations they were pushing. John, what was that site you said that for folks who don't believe they're putting...
Novaccine.com?
Yeah, novaccines.com, folks.
Yeah.
Help yourself. You can go see what poison they're actually putting into our bodies, or i.e. your bodies. Because I don't do shots. I haven't done shots in 30 years. And I'm not going to start now, and nor my kids. We don't do the shot thing. I'll be glad to give them a shot. I'm really good at giving shots. Anyways, whatever. Folks, I won't bring...
An animal. And, let's... The end game is let's eliminate all humanity. I shouldn't say that. What I mean to say is every aspect that makes me human. Let's eliminate my compassion. Let's eliminate my ability to love and see joy in others. Let's eliminate my creativity. Let's eliminate everything that makes me me.
Yep.
And it's that crushing fear through the systems of, we're getting it through the chemicals, through the food, through the water. So let's affect my body, my very vessel that carries the spirit of mine. Let's affect the brain, which, let's affect my spirit also. So it's a three-pronged attack. And my sense of things is it's a war of consciousness. And this is not, and it will not be fought with guns, but it will be won, and it is being won with consciousness, with awareness, with people actually realizing that, first of all, what's going on. And that elicits a lot of anger. Remember we were discussing Elizabeth Kubler-Ross, and she had this model when a person is facing death or another sort of extreme fate. There are a series of stages, and it's been refuted by other scientists, but you know what? I think there's value there. We go through various stages, not necessarily all of them, and not in any particular order, and we might go back to a few stages and repeat them, but I like this. First, you go through denial. Nah, it's impossible. There's no chemtrails. They're not poisoning my water. They're not controlling me. I'm in charge. Then it's anger. Okay? When the facts are just too blatant and too obvious, then you come around to seeing what's going on. You become angry. Then sometimes you might go through bargaining. You might, well, look, I work for the bank. They're going to take care of me. Depression and then acceptance finally. The topic we were going to be discussing tonight is drawing the line.
Yep.
And I kind of warned you before the show that there might be a total polarity switch between us. And
Pete will be the passive, neutralizing one, and you're going to be the ranter. Is that what you're telling me?
I might just go off on a rant here.
Oh, here we go, folks. Hey, go ahead, John.
But you know what? I want to break the flow because I know John is here and he's so patient. And John, we just opened so many brackets. It's like we need a cleanup on all four. Can we get back to you because I really want to find out what's going on with you and the kids.
Well,
and then we'll get back to my rant.
There we go.
Like I say, we're still being peaceful and stuff like that, while still not consenting or signing anything with DPS or any of this kind of stuff. Refuse to, and this is part of it as well. They're definitely trying to be hard-nosed as well and doing everything in their power to make me do this stuff.
Right.
They illegally kidnapped my children with no charges whatsoever, so and applying for 6 months custody. This is this is our court system. They apply for a 6 month custody while keeping them for 6 months before the trial.
And I think they're making a couple of dollars too, brother. I think they're hypothecating.
Yeah,
they're probating the estates, folks. For those of you who don't understand that, go ahead, John.
But like I say, we're staying peaceful.
Take the needle off of you, but you'll get, anyways. I better be nice. Anyways, that's right. I'm supposed to be sharing the love. Okay.
I know. That's what I say, Pete. That's where we come from too. We've got to keep ourselves in check as well too, and not let these bastards, bring us down to their level, kind of thing. So, so we'll use this, and hopefully we have some listeners that can hear what I'm saying, and and at least go and look this stuff up before you do this to your kids and stuff like that, And we wonder why our kids are so sick and why there's so many people in the hospitals and all this kind of stuff. It is business, It's they treat us like absolute rats in the lab, exactly, just like you said. It's
and
horrible.
You're another hypothecation of it, folks. It's just about the money. This is what I did 25 years of research following the stinking money. If you just follow the money trail, you'll have total clarity about all the conflict of interest crap that these people do. They're not making decisions on my behalf. Like I say, folks, that's not where I live. You can put whatever crap you want in your body, but what blows me away is they're actually infecting the food supply deliberately. Now that's pretty freaking nefarious from where I live. I mean, it's one thing if I want to eat whatever I want to eat, but now you're going to arbitrarily poison my butt with your garbage, and I have no say. So I guess I got to quit eating that crap, folks. So I guess Peter's gone pretty much. He's going all natural. My machine likes it. My body, it's all good. Back on that page.
And why, Peter? Why? These. If you control the food, you control the people. If you control the water, you control the people.
Yep.
If you have everybody using a system of currency, of money, you control the people. It's all completely arbitrary. It's all completely arbitrary. It's called fiat currency. It's created by decree. It's created out of absolute thin air.
Yep.
The Federal Reserve, look, I'm probably preaching to the choir here, but it is neither federal nor is it a reserve. It is a private corporation that lends money to your American government. Here in Canada, it's the Bank of Canada. It's neither a bank and nor is it Canadian, and they lend money to the Canadian government at interest. Now, if you understand just the basics, the very, very basics of mathematics, most people will understand if the Bank of Canada lends money to the government and expects for the government to pay it back with interest, there is not enough money in the world that can ever pay that back.
Right.
And that it is a Ponzi scheme of epic proportions. This is the mind hack. It is made to fail. It is a giant game of, I think everyone's familiar with the game of musical chairs.
Very good. You just pulled the thought right out of my head. Okay, yeah, use that analogy, sweetie. That's really, really good.
It's the game of musical chairs. There are a certain number of chairs and a certain number of people. There is one chair missing, though, so that when the music, and everyone's walking around, and when the music stops, everyone has to grab theirs. They have to grab their chair because we are set up in this system based on lack and limitation. And guess what? The person standing, well, he's the one that loses his farm, or he's the one who loses his business, or his house, or his car. And he's the one that's made to pay. And it's based on fear, because money is the control system that keeps us in fear. And why? Why?